picture a Friday night. A guest at the bar has had, way too much to drink.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Right. They're getting loud, they're leaning aggressively across the counter, and your instinct, naturally, is to shut them down. Like to prove them wrong and just win the argument.
Exactly.
But today's deep dive flips that entirely. Because if you step into that interaction trying to win, you've actually already lost.
Yeah, the core philosophy of this text is that your priority in these tense encounters is, well, it's never your ego.
Right.
It is strictly protecting the environment. So we're looking at a framework of preventative defense. Basically, actions you take to diffuse a situation before the fuse is ever even lit.
And those actions actually start like the second someone walks through the door, don't they?
They really do. One of the earliest tools the manual suggests is surprisingly simple. Just getting the guest's name right away.
Which sounds so basic, right? Like you're just being polite.
It does sound basic. But you aren't just being polite here. You're laying down, like, psychological speed bumps.
Psychological speed bumps. I love that.
Yeah, it forces a subtle shift. Using a person's name establishes this sudden personal connection here. I mean, just like a physical speed bump doesn't magically stop a car, but it forces them to slow down, to acknowledge their surroundings. The text also highlights this pay-as-you-go strategy for early prevention.
Oh, like if a guest walks in giving off kind of a sketchy, erratic vibe?
Exactly. If they seem off, having them close out every single round prevents that classic end-of-night explosion over a massive tab.
Totally.
And, you also retain the absolute right to deny a first drink entirely just to protect the room's energy.
Okay, but let's say those speed bumps fail.
In a busy environment, if a guest is being obnoxious, a server's goal can unconsciously shift away from maintaining a safe environment and pivot toward wanting to punish the guest.
The text specifically warns against developing a taste for blood.
Oof. Yeah, the taste for blood. The second your goal becomes punishment, your posture stiffens, your voice rises, and you basically invite a fight.
Right.
You consciously have to take a breath, drop your shoulders, and slow your speaking pace. Your role is protection, not retribution. Sounds like a luxury, but it is a tactical necessity.
How so?
Well, people unconsciously mirror the energy of whoever is holding authority in a space.
Oh, wow.
Right, so if you respond to a frantic, angry guest with your own frantic, stressed energy, you validate their chaos.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, by forcing yourself to hold a calm, physical baseline, you actually drag their energy down to match yours. You are setting the emotional ceiling for the room.
You're acting as an anchor.
Exactly, an anchor.
So when it's actually time to set the boundary, like when you finally have to cut them off, the execution has to be surgically precise. The text stresses extreme brevity, right?
Yes, very brief. Something like, I can't serve another drink right now.
Yeah.
Immediately followed by an alternative path forward.
Like offering a glass of water or calling them a ride.
Exactly. And notice what's missing from that phrase. You never use accusatory language like, you're drunk.
Because that's an instant invitation to a debate.
100%.
Yeah.
You state the boundary clearly, and then you deploy what might be the manual's most fascinating tactic, assuming cooperation.
This is the Jedi mind trick part. This is where you deliver the boundary and then immediately follow up with a sincere, hey, thanks for being cool about this.
Yes.
Like before they even have a chance to process what's happening. But wait, unpack that for me. Why does thanking someone before they comply successfully short-circuit their impulse to argue?
Because it serves as a massive pattern interrupts. A combative guest, they expect you to gear up for a fight.
Right, you're ready for pushback.
Exactly. When you confidently assume they are reasonable, you signal an expectation of maturity. Subconsciously, most people want to live up to the positive identity you just handed them. Throwing a tantrum right after someone sincerely thanks you for being understanding, it creates a really heavy dose of cognitive dissonance.
You've essentially boxed them into being the good guy of the interaction.
Yes. It's a really powerful way to maintain a safe environment without ever needing to throw a punch or, win a debate. It forces us to rethink how we view conflict entirely.
It's not about submission or dominance.
Exactly. It's about control through preemption.
Which leaves you, the listener, with something to chew on long after this deep dive ends. Just to recap our preventative checklist. Use names early, pay as you go, check your own taste for blood, keep boundaries brief, and assume cooperation.
It's a great list.
It really is. And if you stop viewing disagreements as battles to be won and start using this preventative framework, especially regulating your own frustration before setting a boundary, how might that completely change how you handle disputes in your own personal relationships?
That's a really good question.
Next time you feel the urge to win a fight, remember, sometimes the most powerful move you can make is just protecting the environment.